And we're live. This is third episode. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we count 3.
Of Tucson Dropsite, 40K centric podcast from Pets Games. There's that guy with the hat. Straight out of Tucson, which is thank you. And we're talking today about military war missions. We're eating tacos because it's tacos. What's it? Orcs and the new White Dwarf stuff. The fancy organizers over there.
Talk about his army list.
And yes, Harry needs to talk about his customs.
We're going to talk about the dangers of brain damage when using unbound armies today.
Yes.
We'll be leading them.
And I'll actually bring the custodes miniatures over so you can see what I'm working on.
Oh, nope, that's cool.
Don't kill like overkill, right?
Joining us today, we have Oshoba's altar boy Josh. We have Freaky. We have Dave Hat. We have Perry, who went out that way to go get his custodes because he's strange and wants to run Earthbound, Earth-only army. We have the disembodied arm of Woody over here. Yep. We have Tony. We have V. And
Dudes in the back.
dudes in the back. Nathan. A local A10 badass. Anywho, former A10 badass for me.
And still for me.
Sweet. Okay, what do we want to do first? We want to do, you're over there, so let's see the custodes. Why not? Because reasons.
You gotta make tacos.
Yeah, stick them in front of the camera meats.
Okay. So
We got tacos.
Tacos. Yep.
everyone loves tacos. Tacos are great.
Come on, bring the tacos.
So
Where am I?
I'm sure you guys probably on the internet have seen custode conversion miniatures before. Basically, the easiest way to do it is to get Grey Knight spits, elf helmets, and whatever marine bodies you want. You swap on the elf helmets because then they have high-peaked helms, and then you use the Grey Knight spits to make those fancy, handy-dandy guardian spears that they all have. These ones in front, the Terminators, those are made out of the Emperor's Children Phoenix Terminators with cyborg miniature heads. The Steam Knight heads, to be specific, and they work pretty well because they're all eagle-y and stuff. And you just paint them gold.
Yep.
And I don't know if you can tell, I haven't done much with the power weapons themselves yet. I will eventually add lightning effects and stuff like that.
Plates, fixins.
Well done.
We got lettuce. We got all kinds of stuff. Cool.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So, because Forge World has not released the 4th book with any kind of custodian rules, there are some kind of fun but ways you can run custodians using regular Space Marines in an unbound list. So all these models here, I figured out that at exactly 2,000 points, you run everything as some form of captain. So all 4 of these Terminators are Terminator captains with lightning claws and a Stormbolter. One of them is Asterion Moloch, who's from IA-12. He's a pretty good Terminator captain. Then all 4 of the tactical marine-looking ones are regular captains with artificer armor and relic plates. And then the leader is Vulcan Heston because he has a spear weapon and it's fluffy. And then the other 3 remaining models are 2 Brotherhood champions and just a vanilla librarian. And everything in the army except for the librarian is a 2+4+ save. The librarian's a 3+4+ save. And then you also take a Land Raider and you just put as many models as you can possibly fit in a Land Raider and deep strike the rest. And that's how you play at 2,000 points with 13 models and a tank.
You're a special child.
Yeah, even the Warhounds dislike that.
They're upset. He's mad at me.
I see no problem with that.
No, it's straight up movie Marines.
It is sort of movie Marines. It's not quite as broken as movie Marines.
But there's no stunt doubles. Yeah.
I don't have stunt doubles.
Stunt doubles. That's what they are.
I don't have stunt doubles. And the other thing is you have serious problems against like heavy armor lists
Or armies.
Primarchs.
or anything with any
form of body count.
You can't. Yeah, it's not that great against big.
You don't have problems with any of that. What you have problems with is one side of a 6-sided cube.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
Ones are really
that's
bad.
assuming they get those 2-up saves to begin with. There is a lot of plasma in Milton.
You could
Not to mention the launcher cannons.
you could take out these 3 guys and give them and give your Terminator storm shields if you wanted. Yeah, and that would be about the same cost. They usually 2-up, 3-up on half the army.
I
So,
can do a 3-up, but how many wounds and what's their toughness?
they're all 3-wound models,
And they're all T4.
but they are all equal.
So,
I
one
have no
melted
problem.
gun.
No problem.
One melted
So
gun
let me get this straight. You essentially bought really overpriced Tyranid armor.
Yeah. Very
Better armor, but
I know.
Yeah, better armor, but yeah.
I know I've mentioned this before, at least in passing. I know how to do rerollable 2-up saves as Space Marines.
That's true.
Who does that?
Okay, you take a Terminator unit with storm shields, right?
Right.
And then you put an Inquisitor with them, and you cast the better save. And you put a priest with them, and when you're in close combat, because you're coming out of Land Raider, why would you be in close combat? Then you re-roll your failed armor and invulnerable saves.
That is true.
that also leads into how
That's
you get
actually a
strength
better way to
10
do it.
Repentia and
Oh.
strength 10 Canoness.
Well, it depends on the psychic base too. So, if you're pretty much psychic heavy, you're gonna have no problem. Like if you have at least have 5 psychers on your side of the board.
You
And
could
just wait for a
actually,
low D-roll.
then if you wanted to do that and make sure your psychic phase was going off, don't run out of the Space Marine book, run out of the Grey Knight book. Because it's basically the same stats, slight premium on points, but you're getting a buttload more psychic decks.
Right.
True. If you want to blow more on that, just get Inquisition.
Inquisition does it really well too,
Yeah,
which is how you play into getting
Yeah.
strength 10 Repentia and strength 10 Canoness for the Restorator.
The point, though, of this list wasn't to be, like, super good. It was just to show you what kind of nonsense you can get into with Unbound. So this is 10 captains in one army list.
Yeah.
So, and that makes 2,000 points with a Land Raider. So,
I agree with all that silliness. Speaking of silliness that has been drenched out of the back of the thing for Unbound, hey, what do you got on the table there?
This is for my Battle Forge list. Thank you very much. I happen to dredge up an old Apocalypse formation that's called a Wolf Pack.
Oh man.
I have 2 Wolfhound Titans, and I cannot wait to use them. I'm going to find a good chapter for them. They'll be absolutely loyal to the proper people who worship mankind. That would take care of that, but that's beside the point. And we're going to have the old dog and new tricks going to be hitting the tables. Let's see these guys get painted up over time.
And it's really cool that most of them are modeled so the tops can be popped. The one that's unpainted, the weapons, head, and torso are all magnetized.
Not that I regret that.
But,
Yeah, so-
Dave,
Also, you don't have to wait for the next Apocalypse to come out, considering they now have the Lords of War trait.
Yep.
Dave, remember the revelation we came to about that formation?
Oh, yeah.
It's about the same price as 5 Knights.
I'll take it.
It's fine. I don't care. I don't care. I'll still bring 5 Knights.
speaking of Knights, the new Cerastus Knight Lancer just debuted on Forge World.
That thing is
You
pretty.
guys
That is correct.
definitely need to check that out.
It's
The thing
pretty.
is, the thing is really tall compared to another knight.
Oh,
The other knights are like here.
Yeah.
The Forge World knight, that thing's like this.
It dwarfs the
But it's
Eldar
awesome.
Wraith Knight.
It's
hands
awesome.
down.
It's so awesome.
Its
That's
rules
all that
are
matters.
really good.
It's roughly an equivalent the height of a Revenant Titan. Not a Phantom Titan. A 2-footer. It's like the 18-inch.
Yeah, like I said, it's taller than the Wraith Knight. And the Wraith Knight was just about like a chin level lower than the actual Eldar Wraith Knight.
I actually have it pulled up here.
Yep.
So try and show the.
So on the Forge World download site, there's a fancy thing there. I'll get up kind of closer. That's the art for it, which is right about there.
Yeah, and as you can see, it actually has some details that are kind of, a lot taller.
Yeah, big honking
It actually
kneecaps.
looks more Eldar-esque
And
than
then-
anything else.
It actually looks very now, as far as the leg stuff.
It's not that square. It's more
We
round.
saw they have the rules
just the
out
way
there.
Yeah, and there are downloadable rules, and they are not marked experimental. They are just marked with 40K, which means that those are legal rules.
Hey, look, I'm
But-
bringing them up.
But they are a Lord of War choice.
They are Lord of War
So you can
choice.
only have one. And they're limited by however many knights you have of any other type in
Right.
your knight army. So you can have, I think it's one per.
So you have
It's one per night.
Right.
You have to have at least even numbers.
So it's 400 points, weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, strength 10, front armor 12, or front armor 13, 12's on the side, and rear initiative 4, 4 attacks, 6 hull points, and holy crap!
Rather than my space wolf things, where's my Titan still? I'm gonna get my other Titan.
How many points is that one, Dave?
2,500.
25.
Okay, so I can field 6 knights then.
Yep.
I put money on this.
Yeah,
That's like a play hacky sack with your knights.
I put that.
yeah, go ahead and pop that up a little higher because we need to. Yeah, there we go. All 20. And
Yeah.
You had 2,500 points to get off the team.
if I remember right, Blue Table Painting made that for you guys.
A long time ago, a friend of mine had it made by painting, and even had a grabby arm back then too. But yeah, it's fully posable, and its arms are interchangeable. Has parapets up at the top, parapets at the bottom here. Has all the weapons options for it, and like I just said, the crew could be seen inside the head. So
like a flopper.
That group right there, that group with 3, you could run as a Titan manifold.
Yeah, mandible.
It does have a point.
It still bothers me they use the word mandible. I'm sorry.
Wait, what?
Maniple. I don't know.
Man nipples.
Yes.
On the more affordable end of things, the Cerastus runs 3d6, which is pretty good. It's going anywhere it wants to go, always. The Shock Lance is a D weapon in melee, and it gives +1 bonus to initiative on charges, which is pretty good, because you have an initiative 5 Knight Titan, which is nasty. And then it is only 18-inch range, but it's shooting with a Strength 7, AP2, 6 shots concussive weapon. So it's probably killing anything it shoots at, too.
Almost anything.
On all of these points, I have a question. Nathan, when are you picking up your hero with Biotitan?
It'll be a while. I still got a few more regular monsters.
Yeah. Because we need to see that thing walk around and poke things in the belly. I'm a boop in the nose. Oops, I missed. All the way
Well, I might be getting a Heritage first.
Oh, Heritage amazing.
Whoa. Go big or go home, huh?
Yeah. I love the Heritage because it drops all those the gargoyle spots. It's amazing.
Well, apparently I hear in a Imperial Army stuff much there's an upgrade you can buy for Heroes that let them transport like any Tyranid infantry now.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's amazing. That's awesome. It has to be to
a little bit this way.
Dang.
Well, considering how Tyranids are nowadays, they need all the help they can get.
Yeah,
They just got allies, so.
yeah, they can
Well,
play with themselves.
However, I will say this much: the dribble, the flight test, the bouncing off the ground part of it.
Yeah.
Had to actually do the one.
That adds a lot of strategy.
And they only take one
phase, not one.
Yeah, it's one per phase
Yeah.
now.
Oh, that was like a state.
Now you can't laser pointer them down using marker lights.
Nope.
Yeah.
You can blind pilots with your laser pointers. It's like, oh my gosh.
My demons are very grateful for that. Well, that's actually really good.
Likewise.
Too. You get good table position, you take down the psychic, then the shooting phase. There's a possibility of something like that.
Well, the assault may get run down because they keep making my changes.
Yeah. It was a good shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's segue in what the orcs are doing.
Yes.
Freaky is our resident orc fanatic. They got this new fancy box.
Oh, it's fancy.
Fancy box.
So fancy. It's
Yeah,
just like opening a box of yes.
All the bits. It is a Gorkanaut, Morkanaut, Shenanigans and not.
Why stop at just one individually? You could just combine them in the vault, and then you got
Try
Orktron.
and open it up as soon as
Oh, okay. We'll look at this first. Go ahead and talk over what it. Here's the last week's whiteboard.
Oh, good.
Because Freaky getting a new book, so therefore she can talk.
Yeah, look,
Words, make them.
I'm working on it.
It comes on this big fancy base, which looks like Imperial Knight size base.
Yep.
They in this week's whiteboard there was a
Not bad about myself.
Orcs versus Imperial Knights fight in there. And from what I gathered, Orcs kind of pushed their faces in.
Oh,
In standard GW tradition, what's coming out new?
Hey, we don't get that.
I know, huh?
Well, If it makes you feel any better, sisters haven't been in White Dwarfs since
Since
last year.
Yeah.
And we still lost in that.
We don't really use that pity button every
My pity button no work today.
Yeah. So I'll show up the screws for the Morkanon if you want to fuck with Gork if not.
Or it could possibly be a Gorka.
Yeah. By the way, these instruction things, throw those away
It
because
does help. They do help. When I have
Because
the,
No, you're an orc. You don't need instructions. What?
I know, but like putting the body together, that's still a thing.
no, you get a
just put the
trash
body
can, you flip it
together,
upside down, and glue the screws to the side of it.
No, that's a guardian.
Oh yeah,
That's
okay.
a guardian.
Remember, kids, orc vehicles can be made out of literally
Anything.
Oh, that's so.
So that's what one of the
All I have
screws
to
looks
do is
like.
just believe it works, and it still works.
Orc models can be made out of anything.
Freaky has proved that. Go ahead and keep talking. I'm just looking.
Righto. So we got the Gorkanaut. It has the claw, and it might possibly be the claw of Gorkanaut, but it's probably just the Gorkanaut claw. And then Gorkanaut also has a claw of Gorkanaut, but it's no. How about that? It's the Gorkanaut has the claw of Orc, or possibly Mars. So they traded hands.
Yep, they high five.
So one has a fist on the left hand, the other has a fist on the right hand.
And you don't know which god it's from, but they both hurt.
The Gorkanaut has a rampage special move. They are walkers. They're not heavy walkers.
Walker transports.
Yes, they are.
Best transport.
They have,
Imagine that's like, oh, I'm in hand-to-hand combat. We want out. Busy now. Busy killing. We want out.
their transport capacity is 6 models. No fire points. That is sad.
Which means it's 5 models and a 4 models.
Yep.
Silly question.
And then it kind of comes out the belly when they dismount.
It gives birth to orcs.
Is it an assault transport and can it load or unload while it's locked in close combat?
Probably
not while it's in close combat.
It's not an assault vehicle?
Nope.
Really?
I didn't know where vehicles came in, not assault. No, it is the assault vehicle.
Wait, is the walker open top? Good question to ask.
No.
Damn it.
That would solve all your problems.
Yeah,
$5 says errata plus
Although
5
more,
points. It's an assault vehicle.
Morkanaut has a little dude on like his shoulder, no, in his head.
Yep.
He's just kind of hanging out there.
Yeah, it looks
I
like
like
the main difference between the Gork and Morkanaut is the Morkanaut has a bunch of science on them, and the Morkanaut is all killy.
Yeah.
I like that there's a dude aiming the arm.
Yeah.
Rock riggers are really cool this edition.
Yeah.
A vehicle with rock riggers has the "It Will Not Die" special move.
Oh, seems really good.
It's super fancy. And fancy that, Gorkanaut and Morkanaut both can take drops.
How many points is the Grutrigger upgrade?
29.
20 points for It Will Not Die on a 5-hull
So
point
these-
vehicle. That's a good deal.
The 15 points is 15 points on my
So now the question becomes, do you get a Gorkanaut / Morkanaut and have the extra bits, or do you spend the extra $10 and get Stomp?
Or have both. It's orcs.
Like
You can make a stomp or not.
You can make both of those damn things out of one set.
This thing's what, a heavy support choice? As far as we can tell.
Yeah, it's got heavy support like that.
Yeah,
Unless
so,
Unless it has like a crazy thing that says designated transport, then we have problems.
this thing isn't a Lord of War. It's, fundamentally they're nice.
And it costs about the same as a Land Raider.
245 for Morkanaut, 230 for Morkanaut.
Oh, and it's actually useful unlike the Land Raider?
No, Land Raider got so much better in this edition.
Yeah, you have basically.
So they end up keeping them.
So really hard to blow them up.
Same thing could be said with my mom as an armor set.
Okay, let's move on to
All right.
the other one. they put out flashy new flash kits.
Flashy kids.
My favorite bit, Captain Hats.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
the Captain Hat.
No, my favorite is Target Squid.
Looters for life.
Target Squid.
Seriously, it's got a giant eyeball.
Yeah.
Target
what?
Squid.
It can see forever.
A targeting squid.
Well, I gotta see
Get that one. Let's go targeting
Oh,
squid.
yeah. I'll play it.
Alright, so
Right.
questions.
There.
5th edition, they could, you know,
I can see
find this
forever.
treasure before they shoot, right? 6th edition, well, they ignored it. This edition, oh my gosh, if they stay put, they have BS3, you guys.
What heresy is that?
3! Works with 3!
Wait.
Yeah.
Well, you have to use not orc dice then. That's Imperial Guard stuff. Don't do that.
Yeah. I was about to say, what
Heresy.
heresy is this?
Heresy.
They are clearly bronze and orcish guys.
Oh, that could be.
That could
Have you
be.
checked? Drops with like some Space Marine stuff in it?
I don't know, they look...
They're not
So that's what
being,
happens when you give a karate gene seed.
they're not being teleported across the battlefield, so they're not drops.
But they got a ton of amazing rules. Their guns are set at strength 5. Their AP is rated, so.
They, from what it looks like they took away the 3 basic upgrades, and we shall have. But it's okay because now they are Assault 3, Strength 5, D6 AP. The Assault 3.
Question.
Crap.
Do they still keep their get hot, or do they ditch that?
That was with the
So there is no good. So there is no get hot.
Yep, 3 is hot. It's just Assault 3 go.
That's cool.
You still can't get enough DACA.
They do have a special rule called Here We Go. If every model in the unit has the Here We Go special rule, then
They can re-roll 1 dice when determining their charge range.
yes.
So, for example, say you roll a 7, and 1 dice happens to be a 1. You can re-roll that 1 dice, and you can probably get another 6. So they can charge you the full 2d6 inches. But if that's what that rule says it does, then what does WA do?
We can re-roll the other one.
We don't know just yet. Dave, you have a speculation on when the new Orc Codex will drop?
New Orc Codex, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get talking on time. New Orc Codex will be coming in the first week of July if everything goes together.
You know, speculation, internet magic.
Alright! We believe in internet.
The unit composition is going to be 4 flash kits and a captain. And the options is may include up to 5 additional flash kits for 22 points a model.
20 dose.
And any model may take an ammo burst. And now we get to have a truck or battle wagon as dedicated transport.
That's kind of good.
They're all 2-room models, also.
Yep.
And if they don't move, they're BS3.
Yeah, recover.
So
Yeah,
there are knobs that know how to shift.
Yes.
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
I'm waiting for the new Mega Knobs. Plus the new sculpts.
Yeah. We saw the new sculpts in here.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, it's
That's the note board.
Wow.
Wow.
But so the new Meganauts have been shown in last week's white tour.
Yeah.
They're underneath a Morganite.
Yep. Here's fancy pictures. I'll show you in a second. But right here-ish, am I pointing at things? There, and then there and there. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
There you go.
I'll be damned. All right, cool.
Yep.
One last thing, in proper Orky fashion, these snaz guns.
Snaz!
Snazzy! Give them a picture.
All the fanciness. Fancies. They're everywhere.
That is in one kit.
Yeah. By the way, the you need orc bits. This is the kit for that. They're all over the place. Ridiculous bits.
So good.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Orcs, super cool. I heard the rumor mill is kicking around right now that looted weapons or looted vehicles are no longer a thing, but we'll see. The internet has proved to be wrong and right. At
And
the
right
same
in
time,
bad ways.
and wrong in good ways.
Well, so far this edition is the last 2 things in general. It's been kicking converter models in the walls pretty hard.
Yep.
It's not exactly kicking them, but just keeping them in a one-way straight line.
On the other hand, it's made troops super useful.
Yeah.
Well, I don't.
No,
I
but
mean, I don't know that conversions are really counts as is still a thing.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean, back in the days, they said as long as it's still on the same base, it's like about 55% GW, then you're fine. Nowadays, they're kind of stricter about it.
I mean, it does depend because GW doesn't run their own tournament series anymore. So really, it's up to your TO. If you guys go to tournaments where there is a TO that's a necessary individual, then it's kind of up to them. Like for instance, my custodes might not fly at a lot of tournaments as Grey Knights, even though they're pretty close to what a Grey Knight would have.
Exactly.
But TOs are generally reasonable people.
I'll put it this way: in this house, you play with what you got.
That's right.
Dave and I pretty much agree on that. If your counts as looks reasonably like what it should be, even if it's from another company, we're kind of cool with it.
In fact, we encourage them. I mean, this thing's made out of hard stock grain. Besides that, as long as you can hear the WYSIWYG in this house, you're good to go. So WYSIWYG counts as excellent. If all the last guns happen to be last cannons, at least you don't have last cannons you're under that look the same. I don't care. However, go for the team, go for quality, make sure your army list is appropriate to the game, and serve.
And we really
above all, have fun.
Indeed. Speaking of having fun, who's had a chance to play a few games? No, I have. Alright, cool.
It's like me and you were tied for
That's scary. Alright.
Yeah, that is pretty scary.
In total, 2 games of 7th Ed, and one of those games, I have a gaming table and an entire gaming room at my house, and I invited one of the local players over named Adam. He came over and he brought Necrons, and we played against a slightly modified. I did Tau Space Marines, and for once there was no Psychic Phase nonsense, because all I had was one librarian with Psychic Mastery 2.
So don't even spam.
And I failed to manifest the single power I tried to manifest that game because the librarian got squashed by Vanguard Overrun the next turn. And so without the Psychic Phase, the game plays a lot like 6th Ed because we weren't using the tactical objectives because neither of us had the cards. I do like a lot of what the tactical objectives bring, but I will venture to say that generally speaking, other than those objectives and the Psychic Phase, the new editions are pretty good.
Well, and as far as the Psychic Phase goes, as long as you have an opponent that's not going out to maliciously spam demons, like I played against Beast, it wasn't a problem that he was summoning, 10 demonettes here, 10 demonettes here. They still burn the same. They still die the same. It doesn't matter. Witches are witches. Sisters don't care.
As annoying and as game-breaking as it sounds, it's actually not that bad, because I also did the same tactic twice before, and it wasn't with demons. I went purely Zinch. So I mainly went Chaos Space Marines Dominant. But there are the things like expansions like Crimson Slaughter, which can give you a demon special rule, and add a demon friends on top of that from Black Legions. Yeah, I could spam a lot of demons, but at the same time, they took a lot of hits as well. So it was pretty much on par. At very best, they were pretty much like human meat shield at best.
Hold on now, I saw Eldar freaking.
Yeah, But there's a difference, like you said. V was not trying to maliciously spam demons. The first game I played against Adam, he specifically took a maximized Psychic Phase Eldar list for summoning demons.
Yep.
So he took a bunch of Mastery Level 3 Farseers and a bunch of Warlocks that he did not care about. And when you're sacrificing an 8-point Guardian to manifest a Herald, and then that Herald gets 30 points of upgrades, and then that Herald sacrifices himself to become a 250-point Demon Prince, and so you're paying 8 points for a 250-point Demon Prince. That's not so fun, especially because I was playing Tau, and my warp ability is.
Well, even if they do you understand? They specifically says in the rulebook you cannot chain something. Like you cannot summon like 3 units in one turn from like say your Warlock wounded himself to summon a Herald.
Right.
That Herald cannot. You can still learn the conjuring spells, but you cannot conjure from that Herald.
Yeah, but
like a summoning sickness.
But the problem is that the Eldar have so many warp dice, and the Tau had nothing to do against it, that it was just turn 1 make a Herald, turn 2 make a Demon Prince. So like even if you can't chain summon, there are enough turns in the game that a Demon Prince is coming out unless you're playing an anti-psychic army. And the other issue is that Wraith Knights plus invisibility are butts good. So if you don't know, invisibility means that the only thing that can be fired at something is a snapshot, which means that you can't shoot templates at it anymore because of the way the rule is written, and everything else is shooting at BS1.
You can't even flavor it?
You can't flavor it. No, you cannot
Can't
shoot.
flavor, can't large blast, can't small blast, nothing.
I think you could throw a beam across it still.
Yes,
Would be.
And
Yeah.
as long as it
Would
targets
be.
something else.
it has to
Like
target
say
something.
the
The Necron Annihilation.
Right, you're right.
The
No,
Doom
it's
Sight.
Little Spider. Little Spider does the beam too.
both of them.
But yeah, they have a beam that would work. But I'm not Necrons, and only This is gonna sound dumb, but only Necrons are Necrons. So not a lot of people have access to something that can hit a snapshot at me only T8 5-1 model.
And it applies in hand-to-hand as well.
Yes, it does.
I'll put it
And
this
hand
way.
to hand, your opponent's at initiative zip, if I recall correctly.
I think it's weapon skill. Yeah, I think so. You know, even your thing that's supposed to kill a Wraith Knight in close combat, whatever that is hitting at weapon skill 1. So you're hitting on 6s no matter what, and even if you hit it, you might not hurt it. It's really, really hard to deal with.
At that point, it's Brotherhood Champions.
Yeah. Brotherhood Champions, spam, cleansing flame.
One part of games played that we wanted to mention was Maelstrom War missions. I know we got a couple of people in on Maelstrom missions. One's Dave, and the other one's
Can't remember my name.
Sorry, I'm
Oh
terrible.
yeah, I did play one Maelstrom.
Yeah,
we played
one. Yeah, and it was a lot of fun.
Maelstrom.
I love Maelstrom.
I fully believe that Maelstrom will become the new standard for our fun playing around here. It turns into, you know, seriously, did the boss tell me to go over here and do that instead of murder this thing that's directly in front of me? Fine, I'm gonna go do that. Yeah, but it adds a level of hijinks and interest. What was your experience with it?
Oh, we played a Maelstrom today. We decided to use one of us to use the new Maelstrom, the tactical objective warlord traits. So I went ahead and did that, got the bonus to the secure objective X bonus. My opponent didn't. He decided to be, you know, normal and be unstoppable as an HQ choice. Ridiculous. But long story short, our armies were catty corner. We played mission 6, and we both drew rather good for our first Maelstrom missions for our tactical objectives. First round, we both ran into each other and took as many of those objectives as possible. Over the course of the rest of the game, half of our army was like kind of staring at each other and occasionally would assault each other or shoot that. And the other half of the army was running around like wily goddamn coyote trying to get all the objective stuff. It was hilarious. Because by the end of the game, he was so focused on trying to get the points, because that's all that really matters at that point. We weren't pulling anything that was melee oriented at the middle of the game. We weren't really pulling anything that was easy to achieve, so we're trying to push for the center ground, because all of our objectives ended up in a big box in the middle with 2 tails. And what ended up happening was I was scooting this bike squad along the side. We had to end the game before turn 6, but I ended up trying to punch him in the back of the head while he was grabbing me by the throat, while both of us were also trying to tag buttons on the table. Highly entertaining.
My best guesstimation on how the game turns into feeling with the Maelstrom War missions feels like a Malifaux game.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Very objective oriented as your win condition versus I'm just going to go beat face with my I win at any cost, you know, shenanigans. When it costs shenanigans, just turns into this big blob that sits over here and doesn't collect anything for you.
It's definitely a lot more interactive within the battle. Even like a gunline army like Tau, I was finding doing a lot more movement, a lot more, you know,
You ended
targets.
up in the middle of the table.
Yeah.
Tau ended up in the middle of the day.
Yes, that's how. It's a lot. And actually, it was a lot closer than I was expecting it to be. I thought, I thought that one of us was just gonna kind of stomp the other one. Tony was gonna kind of stomp me.
And it ended up being much closer, and if I had been able to slay his warlord, I actually would have won on that turn, but unfortunately I wasn't able to.
Thank you, new personal chart.
Yeah.
6 will not die.
Oh, God.
The traits in the main rulebook just got so much better.
And they became a lot more universal as well. It's not just situational. In this circumstance, you get this bonus. It says, no, you get this. Go, run, main rulebook, check this page. Oh, yeah, I like that.
I will say that there are a few cards in the tactical objectives decks that are kind of good, depending on what army you are. And I would not be surprised if a third-party group like Nova Open or something like that, any of those major tournaments, came up with their own tactical objective.
You don't really need to because there's a mechanic in there you can discard a card. So like
Even
in my
still,
case, the sisters,
you're
the one where-
limited.
well, like in my case, when I played mine, I was playing sisters. I don't have any Cypress Mana sisters.
Right.
I drew the one for Manifest the Psychic ability. I was like, I'm going to set that over here. Because playing Mission 6, it goes down to how many you can have. That was my first to go. So I kept the ones where I had all the objectives and I was going to murder things in shooting phase, because that's what sisters do. We
You and your
objectives to murder
mountains
things.
of madness.
One of the things that we've been talking about for local tournament circuits is running mails from tournaments, but each mission dictates what cards are in your deck, and we let people know what the missions are ahead of time. Instead of having, mission 1 book this, mission 2 book this, we give you the same mails for mission for 3 rounds in a row, but mission 1 will have only the first 36 cards, only the first 36, which are all objective based. Or mission 2 will have, by the way, and now we have extra things for slaying and melee, slaying and range attack. And then you take out cards and put cards in each round of the tournament you play. We've been playing around with that.
But to touch on the idea that you can discard it, you can still get limited by that, because say if you draw Harness the Warfright, and then you draw Kill Something in Melee, and then you draw 2 objectives that are not on your board half, you're at a serious disadvantage. And of course, that's sort of the nature of war, though. I understand that, like, so the fluff behind it is like, well, sucks. You got assaulted. Your convoy got assaulted while you're moving through enemy territory, whatever it is. And there is something to be said for the ability to get screwed, but at the same time, that could be pretty disheartening if you have just a bunch of objectives you cannot possibly complete. Excuse me. So that's why I could see third-party tactical objective cards coming out at some point for use if you wanted to.
Yeah, but I think the new warlord, the tactical warlord trait helps to kind of counteract that, because you can essentially go, well, I don't like the starting thing, so I'm gonna pitch it, draw a new one.
Yeah.
Or you can there's another one that goes, hey, cool, that objective, get rid of it, toss it out, draw a new one.
Now, your point about getting an objective that you can't necessarily maintain, I think that's kind of neat with the Maelstrom, because that exists in combat. We want you to take Hamburger Hill. Wait, what? you mean that thing that we call Hamburger Hill because everybody dies on the slope of it? Yes.
Yeah. Or like that target needs to die now. Call it a gun run.
And you're like, I don't have any way to kill it. Exactly. You see this? This is an assault rifle. That's a tank.
Yeah, I keep rolling 1s or 2s.
Yeah. Impossible to kill. It's not impossible to kill.
The Afghan.
Is it too late to join the Dance Dealer cult?
Yeah, like the Afghan army. We want you to airstrike that. Wait, what? We don't have air superiority.
Yeah. And then the A-10 comes by because its objective was to, wipe them off.
Sure.
A-10.
Any other top? One thing I did want to talk about, which is unsolicited. Dave didn't tell me to do this at all, seriously. But coming up, what day is the auction?
Auction is the 22nd.
The 22nd of this month, which if you're seeing this like months from now, it doesn't matter. But we do 2 auctions a year here, and we tend to see a lot of 40K turnover because people want to move into new projects and whatnot. But it covers all of gaming. So if you want to pick up some interesting things on the cheap, or auction off some of your older stuff.
Auction off some dragons. I highly recommend bringing dragons.
Out
Or
of
sisters.
sight for one individual.
Also, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you watching the podcast who've enjoyed it, like to see other content, please leave comments. We read them all, and we will be incorporating all the comments in our future shows. Also, we need recipes. You guys like the tacos?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, we need some place to go other than tacos and burgers. So we'll take ideas as long as you supply the whole recipe, and you let us know what kind of contents can be variable. We live in Arizona. We do not live in Hawaii, nor England, nor any place else that has weird things like what's that stuff the Australians eat, Vegemite. So it'll be a little hard to get some things. Make it interesting. Make it so we can make it in mass quantities, and we will very much try to put it on the show.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm gonna go eat more tacos.
I claim credit for the tacos idea. That was my contribution.
It was.
Perry's contribution. Except it came out of my pocket.
There's enough over here for about 2 more tacos.
Tacos.
I'm already good. Knock yourself out.
I'm good too.
In the store owner, you get top priority.
What are you talking about?
We
We
got
got
something
something all
going on
day.
for Chinese syndrome.
Yeah. I got a horse back there.
Throw my half covered.
Oh yeah, we got to redo the chorus because chorus.
Here we go, 30K topic.
Yeah. Go get that thing.
We're gonna. Tony's actually the reason I even bothered to bring the custodes this week because he's always like, bring 30K. Nobody else does 30K. And I was like, I have custodes converts. They don't have rules for them, and they need rules for them.
Yeah.
They need
By the time the
for
rules
them.
for custodians come out, it's going to be when God Emperor comes out, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
Interesting enough, Kabuki Models actually just came out with custodian sculpts. They are not called custodians. They are Legio Praetoriana.
Oh.
You guys think we should have like a painting segment or something on the
Yeah.
show?
I was kind of doing like moment of Zen kind of thing. The yeah. Go ahead and throw it in here. We'll throw around this dude first.
Yeah, welcome to the show, man. Yeah. We still got enough for some tacos down there, right?
Amazing Horus of Horusness.
Yeah, that guy's
But that
badass.
worked about that new shit. Yeah. It just makes me question what the other primaries are actually doing. He is freaking tall.
A lot of them, Mortarian's really cool. I don't know how much of the
Check out those stairs. The stairs are amazing.
I don't know how much of the 30K talk we missed from last week, but the other Primarch sculpts are all pretty much equally amazing. They have a bunch of them out, all on Forge World, and they all have super good rules.
You got like 7 Primarchs out here.
I gotta find that. Where is it? I can't see it. Here, you do that. You're a goddamn expert. Mr. Head
Zoomy, zoomy.
That's definitely gonna. Oh, Jesus!
Oh, damn! HD vision. So I do
This
have
is a work in progress.
Super secrets that's currently painting.
Go ahead and grab it, V.
Seriously?
Why not?
So, I guess we are gonna start teaching people how to paint on the show then. Just a little bit every now and then.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Dave, you can show people how to watercolor.
Shut up! Shut your ass!
I can teach people how to build things.
We can work on my
Work
own progress.
Give me that bag.
Okay.
Do my own progress.
Yeah, sure.
All right, this
Oh, gosh,
shiny
you're-
bits portion. of
Yeah,
the
why
show.
not all the shiny bits? This is a work in progress with some sister shenanigans.
With magnets.
Come on.
So,
I'll get my other shiny bit that I brought with me. She's apparently too small. Does not register the fact that it's not completed.
There it goes.
Yeah. You can even point out.
well,
that
mine's
she's
not
got
so much on
magnets in
painting as much it is
Friggy,
conversion-wise.
go ahead and stick your stuff in
You could
front
have
of
pointed that it had magnets.
You're crazy.
I
On the
have
cheap,
my-
on the cheap work flyer.
Made from spruce or
And there's one thing I'm going to grab another one.
Screws and pocket lighting.
Oh gosh.
We're all showing up.
There you go.
I decided to do work on a chaplain dreadnought. Careful because the arms fall.
Arms fall.
That's actually a really old sculpt for Dark Angel's dreadnought, and the hand is made from extra bits of nonsense. But it came out pretty good.
Extra bits of nonsense.
Extra bits.
And if you tweak the arm up and down, he can do a Gandalf. It will not pass.
You shall not pass. Okay, whatever.
Yeah,
All right, there you go.
yeah, I'm only going to have to show off that one for now.
Okay, cool. Here's a crazy conversion from V.
It's a Keeper Secrets made from a Demon Prince body. And 3rd edition Keeper Secrets bullhead. And a couple of other green stuff and gribbly bits on the side.
Still getting worked on. This is a commission for Patrick.
Yep.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And he's already here and he's got his full approval on it.
So it's just kind of like,
It's all Pinky Purplish and Slaneshi.
Yeah. You don't want to throw that thing up there?
It needs repair work.
Okay, no big deal.
I don't care.
More crazy.
proof that orcs will build out of anything.
Yes.
Yeah, That's a horse body from Fancy.
Oh my God.
Those are bases for wheels.
This is bases. These were
For the connecty bits.
yes for the connecting bits.
It's a pilot dirt. But it's
Also
hilarious.
the tailpipe.
Yeah.
Tailpipe.
It's a tail.
Yeah, it's got a tailpipe.
It's a tail.
What do you know?
And
I think it works. Therefore,
these were the
Yeah.
the
Defcopter.
Defcopter bodies.
All right, guys, we've pestered you enough and shown off all of our derpy ass models. So put the comments in. Tell us what the hell we need to do. Otherwise, we're going to continue to annoy you with random subjects and show you random things every week.
Yes.
And trust me, you don't want to see the interesting turning collection.
Nay, nay. Yeah, like, comment, share, send fancy messages. Look it up on like Google Plus. Yeah, thanks. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.